actually think it's indicative of something much larger, something much more systematic, right? So when you have people, I think, that are not qualified to be in roles and taking on these things, but also kind of not qualified in terms of competence in knowing how things work, knowing how should we be using, what kinds of systems should we be using, what are the protocols? There are all kinds of questions that those arise. There is a larger issue, too, of accountability. How are we going to deal with this? It's not something that should just go away in the news cycle tomorrow. It is something that should be investigated. It should be investigated with oversight. And I have the real question I think we should be thinking about is, who is doing the investigating of the investigators, right? So the Trump White House says, we'll take care of it. But the problem is, in lots and lots of these cases, there have been independent investigations. There have been congressional investigations, including on both sides of the aisle. But there have also been inspectors general's investigations, right? This is how you pinpoint the problem. What do you do when those options are gone? When the Trump administration has removed them? You can't continue to say, well, this is just carelessness, this is just an accident, because one time maybe is an accident, but we're also talking about people that should know better and should do better, particularly when it comes to issues of national security.
To the point of this being systemic, if you notice, the group name was Houthis PC Group. PC, people who don't know, stands for Principals Committee. In the White House, you have staff level meetings, you have deputy level meetings, and then you have Principals Committee meetings. In order to be eligible to be in a Principals Committee meeting, you have to be secretary level or above. So as mentioned, this is a systemic thing where this is the most senior people in our administration who are being careless with information and classified data. And surely it's not the first time that they have done this. And I think the most important thing about this particular case that people should understand is that this was not just a drone strike, although that would be very, very concerning regardless of that. But this was a manned mission. There were human lives on the line for this mission. So the fact that this could have fallen into wrong hands because of this carelessness would have potentially impacted the lives of American soldiers.
Did I see you nodding yes when I think it was the professor saying there should be an investigation into this?
Yeah, I do think there should be, and I think they're already doing it at the White House. But I totally agree with you, because they're not quite sure how he wound up on the thing. And we need to find that out if there's something wrong with this system, which, by the way, I should just add again, they say already existed, was preloaded on computers and devices when they got there and was in use upon their arrival. So maybe we needed an investigation of when signals started being used and by who and why people thought it was a good system to use. But of course, when you make a mistake, you own up to it. You investigate the cause of it.
Did Pete Hegseth just own up to it, admit to it?
Well, look, I don't think there's. I mean, the White House has.
I think
admitted,
the answer there is no.
Right? The head of the National Security Council and his spokesman have said these appear to be authentic messages, so they have absolutely validated that it occurred. So you own up to it. You figure out what happened, and you use it as a teachable moment, which is don't make these kinds of mistakes again, and you learn from it. And I agree, you do try to move forward. But I agree with you. You have to look into these things. You can't slough it off. It's an important deal. And I'm sure there's more details about it that we don't know yet, but that's what an investigation would uncover.
But what does it say that our Secretary of Defense, who leads the largest employer in the entire world, 2.9 million people, and who oversees the best fighting force in the world, was willing to share war plans on a text message app?
Well, there is a dispute about the nature of war plans between Hegseth and Goldberg, and I haven't seen what the texts look like, and neither have you, and so we'll let them fight that out. They're saying that it wasn't. I
think this might be an issue of like capital W, capital P here.
I don't know.
They confirmed the authenticity of all the exchanges there, which included targeting information, personnel, weapons being used. That seems like, at a minimum, lowercase w, lowercase p war plan, yes? A plan for carrying out a military action.
Sure. I mean, obviously some details were being shared in the moment that it was occurring. But again, we don't really know because Jeffrey didn't publish all these things, which is probably the responsible thing to do.
If I have to choose between the two, I'm going to believe the journalist Jeffrey Goldberg. And we do know the danger of this, Scott, quite frankly, because in December, the FBI and the CISA warned, and they name-checked Signal, that we have to be careful about engaging these kind of platforms. They actually implicated China, although China denied any wrongdoing, but they said that China has the ability to infiltrate these systems, and it threatens our metadata. Now, this is before Kash Patel ran it, Mr. Deep State himself, so who knows what kind of nonsense they're spewing now. But this was actually something that our own American agencies warned us about, and the Secretary of Defense ignored those warnings and still involved Signal. And according to the reporting, Waltz himself included